For this guided meditation, take the first few moments here to settle in to your physical body, whether you are sitting on the floor in a kind of a traditional meditation posture, like the lotus or half lotus, or just simply sitting cross-legged is fine too. Or whether you're sitting on a chair, sitting on a couch, or laying down. And I want to encourage you throughout this session to listen to your physical body and to change the seating arrangement if you need to. Okay, that in itself, that ability to shift from one posture to the other, can be done with a sense of attentiveness, what we call mindfulness. We can bring mindfulness into those transitions, and there should be no shame about not sitting upright or sitting on the floor. We do what works for our body in the moment, and we come to learn about our body by respecting it. And I'll tell you the truth, to be honest, sometimes I have a hard time with this myself. I think maybe I can push it just a little bit more, or so this is a practice for myself as well, like really listening to my own physical body and really, like, is this right, or is this not right for me? And I just encourage you to ask that question for yourself. Is the posture that you're sitting in correct posture for you, rather than there's no absolute correct here. And to begin with, if you're sitting upright, then perhaps to rock a little bit. If you're laying down, you could also rock like from shoulder to shoulder, lifting one shoulder up, then the other. If you're sitting up, then just rocking a little bit from side to side, and then also forward and backward. And then beginning to settle your body, settle your mind into your body. Body awareness is where mind lives. Mind is not something separate that you bring to your body, but body itself contains mind. So take a moment to notice your physical body. Your intellect, your intelligence lies in your muscles, your bones, in your blood. Your intelligence is there. And then let's soften the muscles around our neck and shoulders. Softening the muscles around your neck and shoulders. And just the slightest ever tuck to the chins. Let me just check out the range of motion of your head by toggling up and down. Just a slight tucking of your chin. Very important also is your tailbone, what you do with it. And for a lot of us, when we're sitting upright, we tend to overextend our low back, our lumbar region. We tend to push it forward to sit up taller. But I want to encourage you to do the reverse. I want to encourage you to draw your tailbone down towards your seat, so that your lumbar region, your low back, if this is your front side here, and your back side is pointing this direction. So not to do this with your low back, but maybe kind of like this, so you're sitting upright. The lengthening comes from your mid to upper back. So as you consider lengthening your spine up, if you want to sit up taller, instead of pressing your low back forward, consider pressing your sternum forward, raising the back of your neck up a little bit and lowering your tailbone down, pressing it down just a bit. Bringing hands together for the cosmic mudra, Hokkai Join, meaning the left hand goes on top of the right, the thumb tips lightly touching. Eyes are lowered with a soft gaze, softening your gaze, softening the muscles around your face. Letting your breath do the breathing. And I like to encourage you to continue to soften the muscles in your body. This is also a time to discern how much you need actually to listen to any guidance that I provide versus trusting your own instincts here, your own intuition as to how to do meditation. So if you find what I'm saying helpful, then go with it. If not, then turn it off. If it feels natural for you, you can begin to focus on the quality of your breathing, noticing the length of your breathing, paying attention to the place where your breath turns around, goes from exhale to inhale, and turns around from inhale to exhale. Okay, now bringing awareness to feelings or thoughts that may be arising, emotions that may be arising in your awareness, whether they're things that are really present right now or emotions, feelings, thoughts that have arisen in the past that you've found troublesome, and to bring a sense of tenderness to whatever happens to be there in your conscious awareness, bringing a sense of forgiveness to yourself, a sense of unconditional love for yourself. Unconditional means that whatever thoughts, feelings, emotions might be there, whatever actions that you may feel shame about from the past, to bring a sense of unconditional love toward yourself at this time. What does unconditional, maybe even focusing on that word, unconditional, unconditional love, what does that word mean? Unconditional love. want to come back to that sense of unconditional love in your meditation, whether it's immediately this evening or some other time when you're practicing meditation. It's really the foundation of our practice to have that sense of unconditional love for ourselves. How do we open to it? It's there. It's there. And I just want to encourage you that that's this practice is about: opening, being open to all of who you are and accepting all of who we are, the good and the bad, the things we love about ourselves, the things we hate and despise about ourselves. This is what brought me to practice too. I'm not just saying this because I can do it very easily, not at all. But I also find it hard sometimes to love and accept myself. We're going to shift now to looking at our aspiration. And so this is part of the practice too, is developing the aspiration for enlightenment. And what I'll share here is from the king of the sutras, called the Avatamsaka Sutra. It's quite large, so we will only be touching a few verses in it. It is said to be the mind, the heart mind of the Buddha upon his enlightenment. And so when we read these sutras, we can get a glimpse of how a Buddha thinks. And it's also an invitation for us to awaken to our own Buddha nature. It's an invitation. So some of the things that I share might seem totally out of reach in the realm of the impossible, but that's okay. I'm saying that easily, but if you find that these verses are impossible, I'm going to ask you to strive for them anyways. Try to embody them. Try to see them in yourself. That's our practice. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them all. Right? So this is about the will for enlightenment. What is the will for enlightenment? This desire to be enlightened. This is a really bold desire. But there's some part of us that wants to be more than what we are. We start with unconditional love. That's the base, that's the foundation. Total of acceptance of ourselves, all the good stuff as well as the bad stuff. That's our foundation. But we don't want to stay there. We need to also develop that desire, that deep desire that's within us, that we can be Buddhas. We can be way more than what we are too. This will be reiterated in some. So listen. When the will for enlightenment is attained, when the will for enlightenment is attained, so you may not feel the will for enlightenment or have it. When it is attained, this is what happens. Those who practice giving, those who practice dana paramita, the perfection of giving, then having reached extreme joy, will become lords of the land. It's a huge statement. When the will for enlightenment is attained, those who practice giving, then having reached extreme joy, can you think of a time maybe where you've had extreme joy? Maybe not. or maybe so. Either way, see if you can point your awareness to that joy. Whether you feel it now or not is unimportant. We just want to orient ourselves to it. Having settled all in enlightenment, they will have perfected giving. I don't know about you, but giving is not something that comes very easily or naturally to me a lot of the time. So, this is another verse, a kind of a challenge, maybe. Having settled all in enlightenment, they will have perfected giving. Wouldn't it be nice to have perfected giving? Even if you're not there right now, it doesn't matter. We move our minds in that direction, the desire, the wish to have perfected giving. Having settled all in enlightenment, they will have perfected giving. By following this principle, they will arrive at discipline. Oh, another hard word, discipline. That might come with baggage for some of us to hear the word discipline. What it maybe one way to think about this: consistency of practice. And this might invoke lots of shame for some of us, for all of us perhaps, because we don't live up to what we want often, myself included here. I want to do things, I strive for certain things, and then I give up too easily. I find that, I do that. Wouldn't it be wonderful to arrive at discipline? Even if we're not there, let's pretend. Let's take a moment to imagine we are. And here's where the practice of concentration is so important. We continue to return again to the same object of our concentration, focusing it. We practice coming back to the same point, and then if we can, continue to focus on that same point over multiple mind moments. We come back to our object and then sustain that attention over time. This is how we develop concentration, and it can lead to insight. Do your best. Try your best. Don't worry if you don't feel successful. Just the practice is enough. Here's another line. Having achieved right conduct, they will become well behaved. That's an interesting verse, too. Having achieved right conduct, how to act in all situations. That's a hard one. How do you do that when you're tired, when you feel sick, when you need a break, when you need rest? Having achieved right conduct, they will become well behaved. Thence, having reached purity, they will become lords of four continents. Right? Don't we want to be the Lord of the world? But from a perspective of the Buddha, not from our ego's perspective. Right? The Buddha is the Lord of the worlds, and we're invited to participate in that, the Lord of our world. It's another way of saying what we do has an effect on everybody else. What we do matters. Ego will often try to tell us that what we do doesn't mean squat, and we may believe it sometimes. And it's okay to think that way. This is a kind of a reminder that what we do has an effect on everyone else, even if we can't see it immediately. And so we hold tremendous power. Every action counts, has an effect, touches all beings in the four continents. The four continents is another way of talking about the whole universe. Building concentration, it's really important to believe in yourself, in your enlightened nature, to take refuge in that. It doesn't have to be a feeling, but that building concentration is so important. Building our focus. Trusting that Buddha within us, that he is there, that she is there. However you may imagine Buddha nature. There is trust. And let's begin to bring our awareness back to our physical body, back to the muscles, the bones, the ligaments, the cells, back to the sensations in this body. Coming back, returning to that sense of unconditional love, right? Coming back to that place, that space of unconditional, meaning whatever you have thought, whatever words you've said that you regret, whatever actions that you've done that you regret, wish you could be better, returning to that place of the unconditional love. Buddha, God, however you imagine, accepts you completely in this moment.